Hello, Leo.
Hey, Loic. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you.
Thank you for doing this again.
I can't believe you've all joined us from so far away.
You know, given all the announcements that are going on here, I'm starting to think this is the new South by Southwest. This is the new conference where people come to announce stuff. I think this is really great.
Thank you,
Very
Leo.
excited.
Well, I love what South by Southwest is doing, but thank you for the
glad to be here. You know Sarah Lane?
Hello, Sarah. Yes, I know. Of course. How is the
Good to see you
studio?
again.
Did you see your studio?
No, I haven't been over there yet.
Sir,
Kevin, welcome.
see you.
I'll let you the stage.
All right.
Okay,
Where
thank
should I
you.
sit? Here?
Sit in the middle
Sit in the middle.
so we can
No.
grill you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That works.
We go way back, the three of us.
That's right.
We started working together in 2001.
At the cable
TV.
channel in the United States, called
Correct.
Tech TV.
Yep.
And you were an IT guy.
Yes. I was fixing your computers and installing Linux for you and all kinds of stuff.
And you came to our attention particularly because you found a bug in Microsoft Windows,
Right.
a security hole.
Right.
And you said, I found a security hole. And we contacted Microsoft. They said, that's not a bug, it's a feature. And so we decided, we actually talked with the lawyers, and we said, we should go on the air with this.
Right, because they didn't think they needed to patch it or anything like that.
Right, that's not a problem.
And
Yeah.
you were so nervous.
Going on air for the first time? Yeah.
Were you?
Going on TV is very
I
nerve-wracking.
agree.
Our producer at the time said, Kevin should do it. And then after you did that, they decided Kevin should do more, and they gave you the name The Dark Tipper.
That's
The whole idea was he was this kind of hackery type who would give us the dark side.
But he had this baby face and rosy cheeks,
I don't
so we
think-
wanted
did
to
you
give
like
him
that
an
name?
edgy name.
This is an awesome interview. Thanks for grilling me like this the entire time.
That's not a grill.
So fast forward, you were actually at Tech TV when you had the idea for Dig.
Yes, we had moved down to Los Angeles after
You and
Comcast.
Sarah were hosting the Attack of the Show.
Which the Screensavers previous show had morphed into. Kevin was working on Dig.
What was
pretty
the
much in all of
idea
his
that you
spare
had?
time.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of the sites that were popular back then when it came to the tech news space was more like Slashdot, and also I was a big fan of MacRumors.com. And you know, Slashdot was really cool because it was all user-submitted content, and then the editors went and chose which stories actually made the front page of Slashdot. So I was thinking, well, there's got to be a bunch of gems that are there that haven't seen the light of day because the editor didn't choose those. And so what would happen if you allowed people to vote on those stories and surface the best ones? And so that was 2004, and launched the site after prototyping it probably 30 days later, something like that.
And you were able to take your television at the time celebrity to promote the site. So Dig did get a lot of attention right out of the gate.
For
because
sure.
you had a platform.
Yeah. Initially, I didn't want people to know that it was mine.
You learned better.
Yeah.
But we got about 400 or so people on the site initially right off of that, and then it just kind of grew from there, and people liked the idea, and it was fun times.
And then ever since Dig, then there was Dig Nation.
Did you want to
Dig
be an
brand.
entrepreneur? Was that something you wanted to do?
I mean, it's like when I was working at Tech TV, I always, you remember the segments I used to do, all the crazy hacks and mods and stuff like that, and it's like, I always just had these ideas, and I think that, you know, I always wanted to do software development, but I hadn't coded in a long time, and so I was always thinking, like, what can I do, what can I try, what's different, and, you know, you grow up idolizing people like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and what they've done, and I was like, I'd always like to eventually try and do something like that, like try my own thing.
You also used to tell me, probably Leo too, that it started to bother you when you were just talking about all the cool stuff that other people were doing all day. Even on a tech show, you wanted to be one of those people.
Well, we would always have in people like, we interviewed, Steve Wozniak would come on the show. We'd hang out with him. We had the coolest people at Tech TV, like all the big tech celebrities come on. And you know, you get to meet these people and you realize, well, they're just like me. Why can't I be trying to do some of this stuff too? Like, I have some crazy ideas. Let's see what happens, and hopefully something will stick. So, yeah.
All right, so you were at Dig for
6 years.
6 years.
You're not there anymore? You're on the board,
I'm still on
aren't
the
you?
board, yeah.
So what happened?
Basically, gosh, Dig.
Grew too big for you.
Yeah, I mean, the first 3 years were just insane. I mean, it was just chaos, like trying to keep the servers up, trying to everything from scaling the site to launching new features at the same time. It was just a nightmare to figure out how to do that for the first time. I had never done anything like this before. So we were hiring extremely fast. The team grew to 70-some people. And I think that a lot of it was, looking back on it, I made a lot of mistakes from everything from hiring to feature development to you name it. I mean, when it's your first time at the rodeo, you just learn so much. And so,
give me some mistakes that you made that you now would never do.
Well,
was it hiring? Was that the?
I think that there's a temptation when you're growing a site so fast that you just want to throw kind of warm bodies at a problem. You're like, okay, the servers aren't scaling. Let's just bring in as many engineers as possible that may code in PHP, right?
Right.
But when PHP is no longer the solution, that you're sitting on a bunch of PHP developers when you wish you had more kind of Swiss Army knife, like universal developers that can go up and down the stack, right?
So you had locked yourself into something.
For sure, into a type of platform. Even though it was open source and all of that, we have kind of locked ourselves into the MySQL kind of PHP world, the LAMP stack. And then once that no longer worked for us, we were kind of screwed. And so we had to figure out how to pivot from there and hire different engineers that could do Cassandra and some other technologies that were coming out. And so it was just a very hard thing to do while trying to develop new features. And when you're handling, when you're dealing with there's also, that's just the technical side of things. When you're talking about the community side, there's a whole other world of trying to get people to play nice together.
Right.
And
nobody had ever really done this before. Take a community and have the community push the content. So you need the community to do it, but they're unruly. They're not going to do always what you want them to do.
It was crazy. So I'll give you some crazy examples. One, President Obama was trying to become elected. He was running his campaign near the elections. And we had a lot of pro-Obama stories on the front page of Dig. And so some people contacted us, and they were really upset, thinking that I personally put these stories on the front page because I wanted to get Obama elected, and this isn't fair, and you're gaming the system, and blah, blah, blah.
But I'm sure there were so many instances of people complaining that you were gaming the whole
We had
page.
death threats come in. We had to contact the FBI. I had to have a bodyguard follow me around for a while because people were saying they were going to come and shoot me at certain events. I mean, it was craziness,
And the same thing happened in the other direction. Conservatives started to game the site, didn't they?
Right, absolutely. And then they were taking down their stories because we allowed you to bury stories. And so then we had to write in safeguards to prevent mobs from getting together and being able to control the content. So it was just, I went in with one gray hair, and I think I have several hundred now. So lots of learning.
Dig survives.
Yeah, I mean, Dig goes on.
You've got a new CEO, Matt Williams. Does a good. He's good.
Yeah, he's been great, and we have the site still has right around 20 million monthly uniques, so it's
which is a great number.
What was it at its peak?
The highest it was 38 million uniques in a month.
It doesn't drop that much.
I mean, it's come down a bit, but the thing that's difficult is there's these cycles with the web, right? Where every few years. You look at any startup, any hot startup, whether it's Instagram or you name it or whatever else is out there, and you have a window.
Right.
You have a window, right? And that window's
a very narrow window.
Right.
And getting narrower.
Right.
Dig had a lot more time than,
for sure.
than say, Milk does.
Absolutely.
Does.
Yeah, we either get it right or we don't, and people move on. So it's your window's either going to be 6 months or it's going to be 10 years if you're one of the very, very lucky few. And so it's you have to figure out how can we continue to evolve the product to ensure that we stay alive and stay relevant, right? And so when Facebook and Twitter and others, emerged around us, they started eating some of our traffic, and people were getting their news via their Twitter feeds and other ways. And so we had to try some big, bold changes to ensure that we would survive. I mean, we saw traffic going down way before I launched that new version of Dig that we did, a year ago.
4.0.
V4. And that was kind of it was our attempt to try and become relevant again. And I think that the biggest mistake there was that I should have paid more attention to our real hardcore users of the site versus what everyone else was telling us we should be doing. everyone from investors to you name it, trying to say like, oh, you should be more like Twitter, or you should be more like this, and it's like we should have stayed a little bit more true to who we are. And I think that Matt's done a really good job at coming in and restoring a bunch of those features and functionality that we lost in V4. So yeah, they're working on new versions of that as we speak.
So fast forward to 2011.
Yes.
Milk is incorporated earlier this year, April. Your first product under the Milk brand came out in early November to the public.
Yes.
Is that right?
Oink. Correct.
Which is, what's your Rate the Adventure? Is that what you guys, is that your tagline for Oink?
Yeah, we've said that. I think that the best way that I always try to describe it is that there's been so many services out there that allow you to rate places and say that this is 4 to 5 stars or whatever it may be. We really don't care about the places so much. We care about the items inside those places and then comparing those against each other. So we're trying to make sure that you find the best possible thing in your given area.
So I was using Oink. You guys allowed me to get in a little bit early, and I thought it was really fun. But one of the limitations was you need a big database of items and people using it in order for it to be really fun, where you actually get a lot of recommendations when you go into a restaurant for the first time.
Like it works great in San Francisco, not so much in Paris yet.
So I know when Oink went live in the App Store, it was still technically an invite situation. When you would download it, you would enter your information, and Oink would let you in as soon as possible.
Right.
That ruffled some feathers. People weren't happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there was a handful of services that have tried this model in the past where you let in people that are really passionate and excited about using your product, and hopefully you get those people to create the content so that you can open it up to a broader base. Even Pinterest does this today with their iPhone app. They don't let you in unless you get an invite in. So we tried that out.
Apple will let you do that? That seems contrary to their guidelines.
This is tricky.
It's a demo version almost.
Yeah, but what they'll do is that as long as you have an anonymous version of the service, so like you have a portion of the service that you can use without logging in,
I see.
then it's not technically...
So some of it has to be open.
Right, exactly. So,
and the reason you did that is because you couldn't just have a bunch of people come in who weren't already participating. It kind of had to grow organically.
Right, and so we did that, and a lot of people downloaded the app and they're like, I can't get in, what's this? And they just hated it from that point. So we dropped that about a week later. Okay. That was definitely something we learned from.
So
you still learn. There's constantly mistakes and learning all the time.
Yeah.
It's probably a measure of success is how quickly you learn, how willing you are to make mistakes, and then how quickly you can go on from that.
Without a doubt.
And survive it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a never-ending process, and it's something that I really enjoy doing now is sitting down with new startups and talking to them about what the issues they're facing, especially when it comes to community management and things like that.
Yeah, you're an expert on that now.
It's fun to help them hopefully avoid some of the mistakes I made.
Yeah.
So Oink is cool because you can actually like anything in the world, a concept, your lunch, this water, the crowd, anything. But sometimes I wonder if that's so broad that people just don't know how to use it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we have users that come in and they go in and they take pictures of every single book that they own.
That sounds like something Leo did.
And they say, I heart this,
that's what I
love
did.
it. And well, you were doing some of the equipment that you use in your studio, which was cool.
Yeah.
And then,
well, because one of the things, if people haven't used Oink, that you do is and this was smart, you build up your cred in a area.
Right.
So if you want to be an expert in sound gear, you do a lot of rating of sound gear, and that raises your street cred in sound gear.
Exactly. Like I'm a level 8 in tea and a level 10 in cocktails.
And absolutely, if you recommended tea or cocktails, I would go for it.
Could I game your cred by going into every one of your tea submissions and saying, don't like?
You wouldn't damage my cred. But and you wouldn't really be building cred because we look at where you are when you're rating those things. So you actually have to be near the object when you're rating something.
Okay.
So if you go and you rated a burger right now that was in San Francisco, you really wouldn't get the same effect.
It's just nothing. But there's no negative effect. There's just no positive effect on my side.
Right. Right.
This is the challenge, it seems to me, of these kinds of apps. I think of Quora as well. And Dig too, is that in order for you to succeed, you have to get your users to put a lot of energy and a lot of work into it. And you have to think of ways to make that fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it gamification? Is it that kind of thing?
I worry that kind of gamification and just leveling up and things like that those things are great to hook users for the first few months.
Yeah.
And then it just gets old.
Right.
And so I think that there has to be real utility in the application. And I think for us, so an example of some features that we're working on now that we haven't released yet, but right now, Oink knows that I love cocktails, and I'm a big, I like coffee, like cafe au lait is something.
Everyone knows you like cocktails, Kevin.
Right. I'll stop mentioning cocktails. But the cool thing
is, not just Oink.
That's right. But the cool thing is that, like in the future version of Oink, when I land in somewhere like Paris and I open Oink for the first time, it says, "Hey, we know you're out of your comfort zone. You're not in San Francisco any longer. Here are the 5 things that you might really enjoy in the city, as voted on by similar like-minded people that also really enjoy whatever it may be that you're into."
So you have an algorithm that also says similar like-minded?
Well, that'll be coming, and it's not really an algorithm. It just looks at who else is influential in like whatever cred that you're building in. So if you're,
I don't have to follow. Oh, I do follow somebody in Oink, right? But it's not just people I follow.
Right. So it's based on the cred itself. So like, let's say that you said that you're really into coffee and you arrive here. We would look at all the influential coffee people in Paris and say these are the ones that they're enjoying, and you might want to check them out.
So how's it going so far? Is it?
It's been good.
It's been a month.
Yeah, we just this week we were Apple's application of the week, and so we've been getting tons of downloads through that.
That makes a big difference when you get that front page.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you get that front page promotion from Apple, and it drives.
How much of a difference?
I mean, it just drives thousands and thousands of downloads a day.
Is it like the day you launched? I mean, is it back to where you're just people are crazy about you and?
Yeah, I mean, it's always like it's a huge shot in the arm when it comes to like usage. I mean, it's nice actually. We saw a bigger spike on day 1 because you have these articles that go live, and then everyone goes and checks it out at the same time. Theirs is more sustained, where you see someone signing up like every few seconds for the service. So
how many active users do you say you have on average?
Around 40,000 or something like that active right now. That would be that have checked it in like the last few days or something like that. So we've had 100 and I don't know, maybe I haven't checked the stats in the last few days, but maybe 150,000 downloads, something like that, and hundreds of thousands of oinks, people voting on different things, and hundreds of thousands of items being added, and millions of sessions. Like we track the sessions, how many times the app's been opened, and so that's.
What would success be for you over the next 6 months to a year for Oink?
I think that if we can get to a point where when you arrive in a city and there's anything that you're passionate about, something that you really love, whether it's pizza or you go to a theme park and you want to find the best roller coaster or whatever it may be, if we can build out the major cities to where you can really truly get a great experience from it and actually find really cool stuff, and as a user you're happy that when you use the app you're like, wow, I just discovered something really awesome I would have never found by myself. Like that's awesome. If we can make that happen, then I think that we'll just continue to grow.
You know, that kind of reminds me of a little bit was the latest iteration of Gowalla. That had a lot of an emphasis on traveling and finding cool things to do when you're an investor.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't. I didn't spend that much time with the new version of Gowalla. There wasn't really ranking things though. It was more like a story.
Your story, I think,
right?
is what they wanted. Yeah.
But it was the sort of thing where you would go somewhere familiar and there would be a lot of ideas of what you could do and see.
Yeah, they had guides almost, right? That you could come and check out all the different places, which was really cool.
So we have a minute left. Tell us about your most exciting investment that you're hot on right now.
Oh gosh, there's.
How many do you have?
Total investments, maybe 30 or so. Wow. Something like that.
Wow.
How do you feel about Path 2?
It's awesome.
That's pretty hot right now.
Dave's been doing really amazing work. You know, I'm stoked to see it take off. It's really cool because that team is he's got a stellar team working for him.
30 seconds left. Dignation, it's all over.
Yes.
You're not going to do it anymore?
Our last episode is December 30th.
And you're going to do a big
Los Angeles
splash, big party.
Big party with fans coming.
And why did you end that?
It's been 6 years. I'm ready for a little bit of a break, you know. Yeah. We might at some point down the road.
You also still do your foundation podcast, which is interviews with entrepreneurs and less beer.
Yeah, so I'll be doing a lot more stuff like that going forward. But yeah, and coming on Twit and hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, we love having you.
Always.
Kevin Rose, great to see you.
Cool. Thanks
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. And Leo will have you back. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for
coming.
Great to
be here.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
And Leo
shall return tomorrow.
Yes, and you have your studio. Did you see it?
We're running over there right now. We're going to drag Kevin over.
Run.
So you have 2 live feeds and a third one, which is us. 3, which is us.
You're live too.
Back in the IBM studio We're going to go there right now.
Yes, lots of people watching.
Okay.
I hope
See you
like
later.
it.
Good.
And you're coming back in a few.
I am.
I think it's tomorrow.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Leo.
Loic. Take care. Bye-bye.